Hello, I am Paula Bennett and welcome to my New Zealand Herald podcast, Ask Me Anything. Because one thing I've learned in life is it's never too late to learn something new. So on this podcast, I talk to people from all walks of life to hear about how they got to where they are and get some advice and guidance on some of life's biggest questions. Today, I'm joined by someone who we first met on our tally screens 10 years ago this year. She appeared as a contestant in the first season of The Bachelor. She didn't just compete, she won, came away with the husband, and is still with him. I am, of course, talking Matilda Green. Matilda is now embarking on a challenge. She has joined the Hits Drive show alongside Maddie McLean and has joined me for a bit of a chat. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here.
It's very exciting to be here and to finally meet you.
Yes. We haven't met before.
No.
I met Art a few times.
Yeah.
Because I think we were in the Bake Off together.
That's right.
And then I think I roped him into one of my silly show things and got him in there to do a bit of charades.
Yes.
So I might have done that.
Yeah, that's right. I have met you before because we did the charades show.
But I was, I was the star of the show.
But we didn't really talk because you were up on the throne.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been mixing too much.
Not with the contestants.
If only I was that interesting. Okay, quick fire questions. What's top of the bucket list?
Oh.
If you could do anything. You know what I mean? Like, let's forget that you've got this wonderful new job that you've stepped in for a while, that you've got these children, that you've got, let's say, all money, all time. What are you doing?
All money, all time. Crikey. I would probably go to America and spend a year driving around it and exploring it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's really boring, isn't it?
No, I think it's incredible.
To think of everything in the entire world.
No.
But that is really what I would like to do.
I'm going later in the year. We're only going for 3 weeks, but we're just going to do, a little patch. But and driving.
It would take a year, I think, to do the whole place.
More, really.
Yeah.
And you'll have seen more of it than most Americans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because that's the truth, right? Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning person.
Yeah? And if you could live anywhere in the world, where would that be?
Oh, New England, America.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have this bizarre thing where I feel like my soul actually belongs there. I can't even explain it. I love books that are set in New England. I love anything to do with New England. I don't know why.
And so you've been there?
No, I haven't. That's the thing.
Well, that's even more interesting.
Then. I know. It's just any Little Women or any movie that's set there. I just love it. I feel like one day I just am going to live there.
Well, why not?
Somehow.
Why not? Okay, as I said, this year marks the 10th year anniversary of us being introduced to you on The Bachelor. My goodness.
I know.
Does it feel like 10 years?
No, it doesn't. But recently I was at a PR event, I guess you could call it, and there was a young woman there. She was an influencer and she must have been, 19 or 20. And she came up to Art and I and said, I remember watching you in primary school.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was the moment where I was like, oh, no, it has been 10 years because you are an adult and you were watching in primary school.
Yeah.
So no, it doesn't feel like 10 years, but in little moments like that, it does.
So what made you go on the show?
Well, it was 2015 and it was around the time where Tinder had sort of just started. So Tinder was all the rage for young single people in their 20s. And so I was going on a lot of dates. I was, ready to find someone, a companion to spend some time with. And I was going on a lot of dates and I just didn't find anyone that I really clicked with. I met a lot of really nice guys, but nobody that I was like, he's the one. And so then when this show came up, I love The Bachelor and I was like, why not give it a go? It's what's the worst that could happen? I'll be made out to look like an idiot. That's okay. I'll deal with that. But what if something really amazing comes out of it? And I remember talking to my mum about it because I was like, what do you think? Should I do you think I should do it? Like, what if they make me look like a dick? And she goes, well, put it this way. Do you remember anyone from New Zealand's Next Top Model season 1? And I said, no. She goes, well, there's your answer. It's fine. Even if you do look like a dick, no one will remember.
They won't remember
But
you,
I think
yeah.
actually we're all a bit naive because now we've got social media and people actually do remember. So maybe that wasn't great advice at the time. But I'm really glad I did it. And I was actually working at MediaWorks at the time. So it was controversial because it was a MediaWorks show and I was a MediaWorks employee. But I asked all the powers that be, I said, is this all right if I apply? And they said, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I came back from the show and they were like, okay, we do actually have a bit of an issue now that you have won the show. But they were wonderful and they were really supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
they
you
were like,
really did go on thinking that you might find love?
Yes. Well, I didn't think that I would. I hoped that I would, but I thought it was unlikely, to be honest.
Do you think others go on for the profile and because they see this as a way to get their 15 minutes of fame and be on TV?
Absolutely, now they do. But because ours was the first season and the whole influencer industry was quite new, so that link between reality TV and then becoming an influencer off it hadn't really been made. And so the women that were going on that show, pretty much all of us were just genuinely hoping that we would meet someone to fall in love with, to sound cringe,
Yeah,
but
we're allowed to wish for love.
We're allowed to say that. But I think the subsequent seasons, after seeing that you can then make a career out of, social media from something like that, now I think it's really difficult to know if somebody is genuine or not.
Yeah. And be hard for the Bachelor to know him or her.
Yeah.
Aye.
Well, it would be hard to know if even the Bachelor is genuine. So it's very tricky. But I think there have been a lot of success stories. There's Brett and Angel from Married at First Sight. I'm sure there's others, so I can't think of at the moment.
No. But you're the only New Zealand couple to survive after the show.
Yes. Yeah.
In the US, 60 seasons has resulted in 30 lasting relationships.
I mean, that's actually
a good
not
hit.
bad.
No, I reckon that's a good hit.
Yeah.
Rate.
That's
Don't you think?
more than I was expecting, actually.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So have the two of you ever rewatched the show?
We watched a little bit of it when it was on air. We sat down and watched it together and it was so uncomfortable. We thought, I think we should watch this separately. So we decided to watch it with our respective
because he's chatting up
other
women.
Yeah, and they're kissing and stuff. And it's very uncomfortable because we were then a couple watching it together because we'd already filmed it. So it was odd. So we watched it then and then we haven't watched it since, and I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, that would be awkward.
Yeah. Well, also because we were 24 and 26 and a lot of the things I said and did on that show, I think, why would I have said that? Why would I have done that?
Do you think
24?
Do you think your kids will ever watch it? Oh, they will.
Well, my kids they're very young. They're 5, 3 and 1.
Wow.
And my son is about to start school. And it's just in the back of my mind because they've got no idea about Bachelor, reality TV. They've got no idea about any of that. And it's in the back of my mind, like, as they get older and they start school, someone's going to say something at some point. Like, do I have to front foot that conversation? Do I have to sit down and be like, no, I need to tell you how mummy and daddy met because it's very niche and, we might have to do a bit of chat around that, or do I just let it happen? I don't know. I haven't really thought it through.
Yeah. Because they will watch it.
They'll see it eventually. Well, my grandpa, bless his soul, he was quite... is quite tech savvy, and so he recorded it all onto DVD, but took out the bits of other women. So it's just
Oh, really?
Is that not the sweetest thing?
I think that is the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
I know.
This week.
So we might show that to the kids rather than like, oh, there's Daddy kissing someone else.
Yeah. Oh, there he is, really weighing up whether he wants to be with Mummy.
I don't think he was actually that sure at the end, Mummy.
So you're living in Warkworth, 3 children, as you just said, under 5, right? 5 and under. That's a lot. And then we've got the hits that you're doing in the afternoons. We can talk a bit more about that soon. But how are you juggling it all?
I'm very lucky that art is a super dad. He is incredible. I can't even understate that. So he's doing all of the heavy lifting in the afternoon and evenings in terms of getting dinner sorted, putting all 3 kids to bed on his own, and he is so capable and so supportive that it would be a lot harder if I didn't have him as a husband. He really is amazing.
And why not? I mean, we wouldn't say, like, why shouldn't he? Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, the gender roles and all that sort of stuff of the,
But it still is quite, there has been a big shift in a small amount of time, like even just from my parents' generation to our generation, there has been a big shift in terms of gender roles and what's accepted. And so for a while, it would really irk me when we'd be out with the kids, or if, Art's holding 2 of the kids or he's got one in the backpack, and everyone would go, oh, what a wonderful dad. And they'd be like, you are so lucky, so lucky. And I thought, that's the bar, that he just has to take the kids out of the house and he's like this incredible dad. But now I see it as actually, I understand, because it is still quite a new thing for dads to be so hands-on and so present and to share the parenting equally. That wasn't the norm not so long ago. So I do get it. But, I would quite like a compliment for taking the kids out every now and again. Well, I took them to a cafe. Does anyone care about that? No.
And I mean, as you say, huge shift for your generation, but even mine, I'm a lot older than you. And, I still hear some of my age groups sort of go, oh, you're babysitting tonight.
Daddy daycare.
Yeah. And it's like, no, he's parenting.
He's parenting because he's a parent and they are his children. And he's more than capable.
Yeah. But it is.
Yeah, well, if I'm away, I mean, people are falling over themselves to be able to help him. They're like, how, I'll bring round some dinner or anything. Whereas, if he's away, people are just like,
Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're right.
Yeah, you'll be right. So why the move to Warkworth?
Well, it was when I was pregnant with my son, my oldest, Milo, and we both worked from home and we were ready to buy our first home. And we were looking around where we lived. We were living in Kohimarama, and we were trying to buy our first home, and we couldn't afford anything in Kohimarama. And we were like, why don't we just expand the search a little bit? Because, it's only an hour away and we don't have to be in the city every day. So we expanded the search to Warkworth. My mum is really close to there. And so we thought, well, we've got a baby coming closer to mum and we can get more for our buck. Let's try Warkworth.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've been there, 5 years?
Yeah, we've been there. Yeah, this will be our 7th year in December, I think. Yeah, and it is just such a lovely community. Yeah. I love it so much.
Do you?
Yeah. So as soon as we moved there, and I had my son, we had neighbours coming around and bringing food and little presents and stuff, and they didn't even know us.
So you both work from home quite a bit?
Most of the time,
yeah.
Yes.
So how's that? It's a lot of time together.
We sort of tag team. We're kind of like tapping in and tapping out because my youngest, Penny, is 1 and she's at home with us. So it's very much, well, at the moment it's different because I'm on the hits. But before then, it was like I'd be on in the morning. So I'd drop the kids and then hang with Penny and do what she needed to do. And then maybe Art would finish his work and then he'd come in for a few hours and then I'd go do work and then swap over and then rendezvous in the evening.
Yeah.
So, just a different type of juggle.
Yeah, just make it work, right?
Yeah.
So you're not in each other's face all day?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, no, that would drive me nuts.
But
then I'm not married to Art. I'm married to my wonderful, wonderful grumpy old man who he says I've got to stop saying that because he does listen to the podcasts. Okay, you did Celebrity Treasure Island, I watched.
Yeah.
I mean, you just kind of kicked it on day one.
I peaked too early. That was the problem. Yeah, I definitely peaked too early because I got the first challenge and then I was captain. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really understand the game. I didn't know how to play. I didn't know what to do.
Had Art not given you advice?
Well, he had, but I sort of didn't really listen because I was like, yeah, well, you're very different to me. We have quite different physical builds, so I'm going to play it differently. And then I just really, I don't know. I just didn't know what I was doing. I fumbled the whole thing. So I peaked on day one. Everyone saw me as a threat, and which I really wasn't, Paula. I really wasn't. They had nothing to worry about. And then I left, I think it was about a third of the way through. And it was fun. It was fun.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
Everyone I speak
was.
to that's done it, they genuinely say they enjoyed doing it.
It was definitely a lot harder than I thought. Like the challenges, I was like, is this safe?
Yeah.
Like some of them
looked so physical.
Yeah, they were.
In the water and then pulling everything out and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it was quite full on. But I would do it again, actually. It's nice to just challenge yourself and do things. Because, I mean, when else in life are you going to wake up and be like, oh, what physical challenge am I going to have to do today with this team of comedians and actors?
Yeah. Quite fun. And so is there any other reality show that you might look at? Like a Dancing with the Stars or
I would like to do Dancing with the Stars one day.
Yeah.
I think I've tried to do it twice. Well, I've been signed on to do it twice, and then both times I got pregnant, so couldn't do it. But
yeah, you'd be great.
I would like to do it. I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
One
you'd
day.
be lovely.
One day.
Traitors, although I'm just saying, I think that they would make you a traitor because you're just so lovely.
Oh, and I don't know if I could handle the stress.
Yeah, you've got such a kind and generous personality that I just think they'd go,
yeah, well,
let's make her evil.
Or maybe that's too obvious and they would go the opposite.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I could handle that show. But my friend Brooke Howard Smith did it and he said it was amazing.
Yeah, well, Matt Heath.
I mean, of course, yeah, he did it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it's a new gig. You've been doing it a while now.
Yeah.
And so you're co-hosting the Hits Drive show with Maddie McLean. So you've got Maddie.
We've got Maddie. So it is tricky. But it's actually officially Maddie and PJ with Matilda Green. Because I'm only doing it for 6 months while PJ's on maternity leave. So we're keeping Maddie and PJ and then bringing in with Matilda Green. So it's a bit of a mouthful.
But that's okay.
Yeah, and then during the show, he's Maddie and I'm Matilda because we just couldn't have two Maddies.
It'd be Maddie, but it would be too much. So tell me, how are you finding radio? Because it's personal, right?
It is really personal. Well, I do have a podcast called Untidy, which I do with my friend Hannah Davison, and we're already mining our lives for content for that podcast. So I am sort of used to mining my personal life for funny stories or anecdotes or whatever. But the main difference that I'm finding the trickiest is, first of all, the live aspect, of course, and second of all, just the strict amount of time. You've got 3 minutes to have a big conversation, bring in the punchline, make the story funny, all have a laugh, find the perfect out, and away you go.
Wow.
I am finding
I hadn't thought of that.
Okay, it is actually, it's trickier than I thought, but I'm really enjoying it.
And
really
you're with
good.
a professional.
Maddie's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm learning off him. I mean, he's been doing breakfast, obviously, and radio for like 17 years.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be with anyone better. Really.
No, you couldn't.
No,
you couldn't.
And we just have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, but plenty more from Matilda shortly. Back soon. You are back listening to Ask Me Anything, and my guest today is Matilda Green. Now, Matilda, I've seen you comment in the past about perceptions people form of you. Some of it's because you're just so freaking gorgeous as I sit here next to you, and then some people can be a bit judgy on, you can't be everything. But people think they've already figured you out, right, before they meet you. So what misconceptions do you think people have of you?
Well, the first and probably most obvious one is that I have a perfect marriage, because I think of how Art and I met, it was very romanticised, of like fairy tale, there's roses, we're going on these amazing dates, Art's always wearing a suit, blah, blah. But our marriage is just like anybody else's. We have ups and downs and we have arguments and whatever, and sometimes we have to work at our marriage just like anyone else. And so that misconception, I think, is the main one, that people think we're in this fairy tale perfect
when
marriage,
really,
where we never argue, but of course we do.
Yeah. Really,
Yeah.
you're trying to raise 3 children.
We're trying to raise 3 kids.
Trying to work, trying to
Yeah.
do everything, not having enough time for each other,
Yeah.
I imagine. Sorry.
Absolutely,
So
we
here's me
don't.
making up your life.
Yeah, no, you're bang on there, Paula. We don't have enough time for each other, and figuring out how to parent together as well. Like we've disagreed on. That's probably the main thing that we've argued about over the last 5 years is when we have different approaches or different perceptions of a scenario or how we should deal with something. That's been really tricky to navigate. Of like when to let go and to think actually, you're allowed to take this one, and when to push back and think, actually, I feel strongly about this. I think we should do it this way. It is tricky. So that's probably the main one. I think the other misconception is that I'm a vacuous influencer, because I think influencers get a really bad rap. Like you hear the word influencer and you instantly just think like skinny tea, flogging products, just self-indulgent, self-promotion, whatever. And sure, there's a lot of that in the influencer industry, but we're all also complex human beings with a lot of different facets of our life that we don't show. And so I think it's unfair to judge people on however many squares on Instagram that they have, because it's a picture, right? You're never going to understand a whole human being from what they share on social media.
Yeah. And do you think you would have become an influencer if it hadn't been for the show? Like it gave you the profile, obviously, and that's what kind of led you into that area of work? Definitely.
Although I think I often see comments on news sites and whatever being like, oh, still riding the wave, trying to be relevant. Oh, when's it going to end? From The Bachelor. It's been 10 years. And it does irk me a little bit because I think, sure, The Bachelor gave me a start and I wouldn't have a social media career without it. But I also think that I have skills and I have built on that myself.
Yeah, of course.
Because I wouldn't be doing a lot of the things that I'm doing now if I wasn't the type of person that I am. And so I think, yeah, absolutely, I have the Bachelor to thank for a lot of that stuff, but not all of it.
Well, and there's plenty of people that have been on reality TV who haven't then gone on to be successful and made a living and been able to adapt that into their lifestyle. So, I mean, do you think that's part of like small town New Zealand, that it just can be so narrow in its thinking?
Yeah.
And we like to think that we're chilled out and we're easygoing, and in many respects we are, but we can equally be pretty judgy.
Yeah, well, we like to build people up so that we can eventually take them down. That seems to be quite a common trajectory. Is we find someone and we give them all this attention, up, and then if they make a mistake or if they do something we don't like, we're like, no, bring you back down, please. We're done with that. And it's like, well, you were actually the ones that brought them up there in the first place.
Yeah. It's amazing what people feel they can say to you, though.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Well, via social media, obviously, but even that kind of face to face.
Even face to face, it is. It will never cease to amaze me what people think they can say to people just because they have a public profile. So they see them as a character. I don't think they see them as an actual human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I've mentioned it before, but honestly, this is a new example of it happening to me. A man came up to me and said, I don't like your hair. And I just went, I just don't care.
It's an inside thing. Like you can keep that inside yourself.
Well, it didn't even offend me or anything because I just genuinely don't care.
Yeah.
And not all men do like my hair, by the way, because it's a bit short and it's a bit, different for them.
Oh, it's confronting for some men, I guess.
For some.
Yeah.
So that, but I don't care. I'm at an age and stage in life where actually, mate, I'm not kind of dressing and.
But then isn't that like liberating that you're in your power and you don't care.
But he was affronted that I didn't care. So he kept sort of saying it. And then I was like, I said, all I've got to say to you is have a good day. So let's talk a bit more about the influencing. I mean, I was sort of thinking your brand is very much, and then I was like, oh God, do you hate that? Your brand? But that's not about you. You're not the brand.
Yeah.
But sort of
I don't like thinking about it as a brand, but I guess it sort of is. in a way.
To be honest, when I used to teach people campaigning, I'd say, you are the can of Coke. Go sell yourself to the public.
And I guess, like in a way it is a personal brand. It just doesn't really feel that way.
And it's more, because as you say, you're a real person that's got all different dimensions to you and as complex as we all are. But in that, you do have to protect what the public perceive you. Like, if you went and did something completely unexpected, then it could hurt your business, couldn't it?
Yeah, and I have to be careful about what I share on social media, because once I share something on social media and I declare this big public stance on something, then I find it really difficult to then change my mind, because people have already thought, oh, well, I'm going to put her in this box now because she's had this, she shared that one time, or she shared this or whatever, so I'm going to put her in that box. So that's why I just don't really do it, because I think, well, what's the point? Because if I have a big public stance on something, I then might change my mind, and then I've got to do it all over again. And then I've got to go back and forth with all these random people on Instagram about it.
But yours is about health.
Yes.
Predominantly, right? And understandably. So do you feel the pressure to look after your own health and look after yourself?
No, I do it because it's important to me. And there's never any pressure on me from outside influences. There's a bit of, like, if I am somewhere and I don't know, say I'm in the office and I get a cookie or something, everyone's like, oh, that's not part of the plan, is it? Oh, that's not paleo, is it? And so I think there's maybe another misconception, as we were talking about earlier, that I'm like perfectly healthy all the time and I never have a cookie. And of course I do. Yeah, because health to me is being happy and content as well and living life, but it's just making choices that are going to make me feel good and are going to mean that I can be the best person I can be and the best parent I can be, and I do that when I'm looking after myself and nourishing myself.
But to look after that brand, I don't think we'll see you advocating for vaping or something.
No, you certainly won't. No.
You're not going to go out there.
That would be very much against the brand.
Yeah, that would not really work at all.
No, it wouldn't fly. No.
So do you think the role of an influencer is understood properly? But you're probably younger than you quite easily, right?
I don't think it is, because to be honest, I don't think anybody really understands what an influencer is, because it's so different. There are fashion influencers, there are skincare influencers, there are lifestyle influencers, there are personal trainer influencers, but it's like all of these, well, a lot of these people are just sharing their lives, and then some are starting to work with brands. And so it's this bizarre industry where it's just all these different human beings then pairing up with these brands. And so there's not a lot of what's the word? There's just not a lot of people doing the same thing. You know what I mean? And like being on the same page. So it is just a weird industry that nobody really understands. And my family, I think I haven't worked for the past 7 years, because I mean, my grandparents tell their friends, they're like, oh, she takes photos now and again and, posts them on Instagram and gets paid for it. I was like, well, there's a bit more to it than that, but, I guess at the crux of it, yeah, sure, that's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that whole juggle thing, right? When we sort of, so what advice have you got for other parents that are out there right now and just going, oh my goodness, my advice is, I learnt at one stage when I was extremely busy, I just went, you know what? Good is good enough sometimes. And that washing didn't get folded today. We can live out of the clothes basket for a while.
Absolutely. I really feel like as long as when you're with your kids, you're present and you love and respect them, I really don't think you can go too far wrong. Like, my mum worked from when I was 6 months old, and she's a wonderful mother, and we are so close now. And I never felt like I missed out on anything from her. I mean, power to anyone who wants to stay at home or who wants to work. The most important thing is having choice. But I just think prioritize being with your kids when you can be with them, you know, and be with them as much as you can. But not everyone can be with them all the time. And so you just have to be present when you're with them.
I was going to say,
that's what it comes
when
down
you
to.
are, right? It is engaged and, genuinely.
Put your phone down.
Listening and,
Yes, absolutely. And that's one thing about being on the hits now that I'm finding a bit tricky of like, I'm missing out on the evenings with them, you know, and that's such a connection time where you're sitting around the dinner table and you're talking and you're reading stories and whatnot. And so now during these 6 months, like, right, how can I tackle that? And now it's just the weekends are sacred to me, and they are so special. So I try and keep them as free as possible. So they think, right, my phone's away. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just hanging with them and doing what they want to do.
I hear you. I was talking to one of the guys at work yesterday, and his children are probably a bit older than yours. And I just love him because he went, I love my kids more than anything in the world. He said, but that hour from 6:30 to hour and a half from 6:30 till 8 o'clock at night is just, he said, he said, I can feel the dread rising.
It can be wild. It can be absolutely wild. Like sometimes Art and I will be in the thick of it when, you know, all three kids are crying, someone's having a tantrum, someone's upset, it's all happening. And we just look at each other and we're like, oh my God. And it's just to have a sense of humour about it, just be like, what is happening? There is a chorus of crying everywhere. There's crap everywhere. The dog's barking too because he's stressed. And it's just like, what is going on? But it's nice to just have a sense of humour about it as well. Just think, you know, this is all part of it. This is all part of family life. It can be chaotic.
My friend tells the story of, you know, just kids and it's all chaotic and here she is. And so at about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, she just said she just plopped down on the couch and she was like, oh my goodness. She cleaned her house from, you know, top to toe. Children, she said my children had a reasonably healthy dinner. You know, here one's sitting there drawing, one's sitting over there, you know, doing their homework. I have got this nailed, she said, and her dog came along, stood right in front of her and threw up and threw up her G-string. And she was like, okay.
They're constantly humbled, you know, when you're like, I've got this, or I've got it sorted. And then, there's a spanner in the works somewhere. Or a grenade.
Along comes a dog to throw up on your G-string. Yeah. Just like that. Okay, to finish this segment, I would love to know what is the best advice you were ever given and who was it given to you by?
The best advice I was ever given was probably, I think it was by my dad, and he was talking about the importance of standing and turning around and looking back at the view. So he said, like, you can get so focused in like what you're doing next, what's the next plan, what's the next goal, but you can't forget to stay where you are, turn around and think, look at what I've accomplished and look how far I've come.
Yeah.
And I love that so much because I'm definitely guilty of like, okay, done that, what's next, done that, what's next, okay, constantly thinking about the future. But you think, actually, this is what I dreamed of having 5 years ago or I'm living the life that I dreamed of, and I want to be content right now rather than thinking about the future every day. So I really love that.
Yeah, be in your moment and be grateful for what you have experienced and what you've done.
Yeah, always take time to reflect on what you've overcome and what you've achieved.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, when I turned 50, and of course everyone goes, oh, I was like, yeah, I've crammed quite a lot in.
Yeah, you've done quite a lot. Yeah. I think you can be proud.
Kind of happy with 50. Yeah, they're like, I can't believe you're telling it. I was like, oh, I'm kind of proud of those 50 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
totally.
Like, I'm owning it.
Why are you so afraid of age? Yeah. It's bizarre, isn't it?
It is bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, Matilda, the podcast is called Ask Me Anything, and so far I've done all the asking. So you've got your own podcast, and this is your opportunity to ask me a question.
Okay, I'm just going to jump straight in with a big one. What is your biggest regret in life?
Oh, probably starting smoking when I was like 14 or 15.
Right. How long were you smoking for?
It took me ages. Decades.
Really?
To kick it, yeah.
Oh, good for you that you kicked it though.
Yeah, kicked it. But it would be, I think it's the most addictive, insane. You know, like it's just like, just disgusting. You know what I mean? Like it just, it was embarrassing, you know, like as it should be. But it was just one of those. And I often look back and I go, oh, don't mind mistakes, don't mind. You know, like plenty of things I could be embarrassed about, plenty of things. And I'm sure I could probably come up. But that one, it took me such a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'd kick for 2 or 3 years and then go backwards. And I just sort of thought, if I could give any advice to young people, it's just don't go near it.
What about vaping? Do you think it's as bad?
Just don't go near any of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, why do something to your body like that that's just so addictive and is going to, and obviously does damage, so...
Yeah.
Okay, Matilda, it was so great to see you. Thanks for coming in. So where can people find more of you?
People can find me on Instagram at Matoodles, or Matoodles. Apparently you don't say at Matoodles anymore. It's very millennial.
Okay.
And my podcast is called Untidy. You can find it on, wherever you find podcasts. And
we should be tuning in right now.
Yes, or on the Hits Drive. In the afternoons.
Fantastic. Okay, that's it for another episode of Ask Me Anything. If you've enjoyed this episode, please follow Ask Me Anything on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you check out some of our past guests while you're there. I'll be back next Sunday. Really looking forward to it. I'm Paula Bennett. Ask Me Anything. Goodbye.